According to Newton's first law of motion, an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by a option C, net external force. Newton's second law of motion states that the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the applied to it. Option D, force. The SI unit of force is option C, Newton. According to Newton's third law of motion, for every action there is an equal and opposite option A, reaction. Which of the following is an example of Newton's first law of motion? Option D, hockey puck continues to slide on the ice even after being hit. The tendency of an object to resist changes in its state of motion is known as option A, inertia. An object with larger mass will have compared to an object with smaller mass when the same force is applied. Option A, less acceleration. The force of gravity acting on an object is an example of which law of motion? Option D, none of the above. Which of the following statement is true according to Newton's second law of motion? Option C, force is directly proportional to mass. If an object experiences net force 0, its acceleration will be option A, 0. A person sitting in a moving bus throws a ball vertically upward. How will the ball's motion appear to the person inside the bus? Option D, ball's motion will not be affected by the bus's motion. Which of the following best describes the law of conservation of momentum? Option A, total momentum of a system remains constant if no external force acts on it. When a car comes to a sudden stop, the passenger inside the car tend to move forward due to option A, inertia. Which of the following is an example of Newton's third law of motion? Option D, rocket propelling itself into space. If the mass of an object is halved while the force acting on it remains constant, what happens to its acceleration? Option B, it is doubled. An object is moving with a constant velocity. What can you say about the net force acting on the object? Option A, the net force is zero. Which of the Newton's law of motion explains why a person tends to move backward when a moving bus suddenly stops? Option C, Newton's third law. Which of the following is an example of Newton's second law of motion? Option A, a person pushing a stalled car and gradually increases its speed. Which of the following best describes the relationship between force, mass, and acceleration according to Newton's second law? Option D, force is directly proportional to mass and inversely proportional to acceleration. When an object is in equilibrium, which of the following statement is true? Option C, the net force acting on the object is zero. Which law of